Okay everyone, welcome to my top 10 list of Mario 64 ROM hacks. Today we're going to be taking all the hacks I've played, subtract most of them, and end up with my 10 favorite hacks. I chose these based on personal preference, so don't be upset if your favorite hack isn't on here or if you dislike some of my choices, okay? I just kind of chose what I liked. So, with that done with, let's get on to the actual video. Number 10, Super Mario Fantasy 64. This is the only hack on this list that I actually speedrun, but I tried not making that affect my decision too much. The hack overall, part of the reason why it's even on this list in the first place is just because it has a lot of character. There's a lot of, the textures are unique, the whole concept is kind of, it's not like totally unique, but it's executed in a unique way. The whole open world concept is pretty cool, and a lot of the gameplay is genuinely unique. There's a lot of stuff like conveyor belts, you know. Conveyor belts, those, I haven't seen those in any other hack. In this hack, they're used in most places. They're actually used really well. Also, a lot of the design around this hack is built around the open world concept. Like, it wouldn't work in a regular hack, but because it's in an open world hack, it actually feels great. Like, this hack took advantage of the fact that you don't get kicked out for every star that you get. It just used that ability and made the most of it, and it actually feels genuinely fun to play in the earlier stages. But that's around where the compliments end. There's a reason this is only number 10 on the list, and it's because of the late game. The problem with the late game in this hack is that it's very tedious. There's a lot of badly designed stars. It's hard to find certain things, and it's genuinely frustrating, and not in a good way. A good example of this is Course 15, probably one of the worst stages I could say in any hack that was designed unironically. So, why is this so bad? Well, the main problem with the stage is that it is rushed. It feels rushed. It feels like it wasn't put together that well. I mean, it's mainly just the same platform on top of each other 10,000 times until you get to the top. There's a few branching paths, and that's about it. And the main problem, there's two problems in this level. Number one, the level has 10 million snippets and checkers on every platform. And the problem with this is that, especially when getting the 100 coin star, or the red coin star, you have to go through most of the platforms. And you're basically bound to hit at least one of the checkers or snippets, just because of how it's designed. I mean, sometimes the snippets are underneath the floor, and they shoot in from above, and you can't see them. And number two, unlike every other level in the hack, you get kicked out if you die. So you don't keep all your coins. You don't keep all your red coins. You don't keep all your yellow coins. No. You get sent out to collect them all over again. Now, not all of the, most of the late game isn't that bad, but it just screams of bad design, and it's why this is only number 10 on the list instead of something higher. I would rate it higher if it just didn't have Course 15 or any of the other late game stages, but because of it, it's only a number 10, unfortunately. Number 9, Super Mario Star Road. This hack was released in 2011, and it's one of the oldest hacks, the oldest major hacks ever. I think it's the second one after Super Mario 74. There's good reason why it still stands up today. I mean, a lot of the models are brilliant, not brilliantly designed, but they're really good for the time. It took a few years until anyone could produce models that were even close to Star Road's quality. The levels are well designed for the most part. I mean, there's some problems, but generally, for most levels, I mean, it's a pretty good design for casual play. As well, the hack does kind of feel like a true sequel in some respects. Like, in a lot of places, it feels like it is made by Nintendo, even though it obviously isn't. It's made by one dude. But in some places, it actually feels like it has that kind of level of detail. And one of the best things about this hack honestly, is the amount of polish. Like, there's no mistakes in most places. If there was a mistake in the hack, it was normally patched out. And generally, this hack is probably one of the best polished hacks, even nowadays. It's hard to... You don't notice anything when playing the hack. It just feels natural. It feels beautiful. It feels nice. Very few glitches or anything else that you would notice. This feels great, honestly. But it also, the reason why this hack is only number 9 is just because there's so many much better hacks nowadays. I mean, when you're that early, you have some problems. There's definitely some parts of the hack that would be changed nowadays just because it isn't good design. People would consider it bad design nowadays, but generally back then, people didn't really care. So that's the reason why it's only a number 9. But it's just because I'm viewing this from a modern lens. If this was viewed from a lens even like as far in the back as 2016, I'd say Star Road would be number 1. But most of these hacks are just really good. Coming up. Number 8. Super Mario 64 The Green Stars. Now, a lot of users saw Star Road on the list and you might be like, why the crap would you ever rate this higher than Star Road? Well, I'll tell you one thing that this hack has that Star Road doesn't, and it's character. Like, Star Road, it kind of seems bland in some ways. You know how I said it was like kind of Nintendo-like? Well, this hack, unlike Star Road, doesn't feel like it was made by Nintendo, but it does feel like it has quite a bit more character than most Nintendo games do. Like, it feels genuine, it feels nice, it feels unique in a way, unlike Star Road. Star Road feels kinda generic in some respects. As well, one of the best things about this hack is just the sound design, and specifically the music. I mean, it just sounds amazing, you know? Not any other soundtracks that compare. It just has some of the most memorable, some of the best songs, you know? And it's for those two reasons specifically, the music and the character, that I rate this higher than Star Road. But I know most people would disagree with me there, but I'll stand to be on the wrong side. Number 7. Mario and the Mystic Purple Stars. Now, this hack is I think this hack is the newest hack on this list, actually. And it's actually pretty good, even though it doesn't look that good. That's probably the only reason why it's so far back. But the sound design, again, in this hack, it's great. Another thing that's just great about this hack is just the level design. I mean, levels feel great to play. There's also a lot of polish. It's not super polished. There's a few mistakes. There's a few invisible walls and stuff, but it doesn't feel unpolished. It feels well designed. It just feels like an overall generically good hack. And so that's why it's number 8. There's nothing bad about it. Number 6. Luigi and the Violet Stars. Now this hack is pretty obscure. I mean, well actually it's kind of less obscure now that Flower Cup exists, but I'd say this hack is better than Flower Cup just because Flower Cup is a remake, and so it isn't that original, even though it's made by the same person. While this is entirely original, and what's really good about this hack, honestly, is just the vistas, the creativity. There's a lot of creativity in the level design. Like Tick-Tock Clock, or not Tick-Tock Clock, whatever the clock level is. It's a pretty good creative level. I mean, it is actually that bad. The later stages aren't that bad. And you know what's really good about this hack? It's not afraid to take chances. I mean, there's one of the biggest things about this hack is the 100 coin comets, and honestly, I find it amazing that you can go into these levels and get 100 coins in them. It's pretty cool. Probably say the best 100 coin comet is in the Wing Cap. It's kind of like Dust Destination, but you have to get 100 coins instead of 8. It's a pretty good level, I'd say. So because of all these reasons, I'd say Luigi and the Violet Stars deserves spot number 7 on this list. Number 5. Super Mario 64 The Red Stars. Now, this hack was unfinished and is just recovered files because the rest of the hack kind of corrupted, I think, on the guy's hard drive. Now, I'd like to see the whole rest of this hack because honestly, the 2 levels that we got here are pretty good. Like, You have the first level, which is grassy area, but it also has a cave, kind of unique, and it also has a sand dungeon, because why not? And the second level is where this heck really shines. It's a kind of sky level that you think had been overdone, but it just is executed perfectly. Now, I can't say much more because this hack actually isn't that long. I can't, like, I'd say the music is also pretty good, but I can't say much about this hack just because there isn't much about this hack. But from what I can tell you about, it's a pretty decent hack, and I'd recommend everyone try it. Number 4, Super Mario 65, the Rainbow Stars. Now, part of what makes this hack so special is just the name. I mean, what kind of creative genius does it take to come up with a name like that? I mean, it's a pretty creative name for a hack. Super Mario 65, I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that name. And the stars are rainbow, so it isn't lying to me. But besides that, one of the best things about this hack is just how unique it is. I mean, a lot of the levels are completely different. There's a lot of levels that are just good, and there's a lot. The greatest thing about this hack, I'd say, honestly, is just the fact. One of the greatest things, at least, is just the fact that the long jump. There's so much cool stuff like the long jump. Like, you can do custom long jumps. I mean, isn't that cool? The long jumps are different. They look different, they look cool, and it's fun, and it's great. And some of the best parts about this hack, honestly, besides like the music, that's something that's always good about most of these higher hacks, is just, and why it's so far up, it's kind of polished. It's not super polished like Star Road was, but it's a pretty decently polished hack. The gameplay's good. And the music's good, and just the whole hack itself is good, and it's fun to play. So that's why I'm giving it a number 4 on this list. Number 3, Super Mario 64 Relax Your Life. Now, this hack is made by a German creator, and I think actually the name is in German, but I think it's called Relax Your Life. I don't remember the exact name translation in English. But you don't need to know German to understand that this is a pretty decent hack. I mean, like, the level design, it looks like it's a 2020 hack, even though it was only made in like 2014, 2015. And as well, the hacks, the level creations are very creative, never done before. Some of the ideas are good. The level design is not tedious in the slightest. I always feel like I get a new, refreshing experience every time I play this hack. I mean, especially Course 4. That level has an amazing starting. Like, the start of that level, I just look forward to that every single time I play it. And besides that, there's a lot of design that Kaiser Hack later took and ran with it, even though it first came up in this hack, and honestly, this hack did it much better than any of this hacks did. So for these reasons, and just it's actually pretty polished. It's a decently polished hack. And for those reasons, this is a number 3 on my list. Number 2, Super Mario Warp Zone Alternate Version. Now you might, when I say alternate version, you might think, what's the regular version? The regular version sucks. Don't play it. The alternate version is where it's at. Now, what makes the alternate version so special? Well, let's just say it's got some things going for it. I mean, the level design is unique. I love the watermelon disc area. That's probably one of the most unique levels I've ever played in any hack. There's also a few other places, like this foresty area, that hasn't been done in any other hacks before. It just makes it nice. One other thing I like about this hack is just the texturing. I mean, the texturing in this hack is brilliant. There's a bunch of textures taken from some great sources, and what I really like is that he figured out how to make a bowling alley out of some of these textures. I mean, if you color this orange, it looks kind of like a bowling alley. And one thing that I want a hack to remind me of is when I'm going bowling. So, because of that, it makes the number 2 spot. But, unfortunately, number 1 is just so good that this hack, while it is an amazing hack, I can't give it the #1 spot, unfortunately. #1. Now for the big reveal. E64. Now, a bunch of you are like, what? Well, this is a hack that only released on the best place for hacks to be released on, okay? And it's the only place that I know it existed on, and it's closed down, unfortunately, but back when it still existed, it was probably the best place to find new hacks. The 12oatmeal.com forums. So, I don't even know who made this hack. I think it might have been Ben, I have no clue. But either way, I got this hack off of the 12oatmeal.com forums expecting it to not be that good. But I was in for a surprise. See, when you BLJ on the big E in the first level, you just learn how great this hack really is. You just have to do it for yourself. Okay? I can't explain how good this hack is unless you BLJ on the big E. Okay? And now, most people who I've given this hack to, they think the hack is just over with once you get past the first level. But no, you can LBLJ up into Bowser 1. And when you get inside Bowser 1, it takes you directly to the final Bowser. So if you do the LBLJ, which most people should be able to do, it's not that difficult of a trick, especially with the camera, you can get up to Bowser 1, go in there, and beat the game for real. And that's how you truly beat the game, honestly. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Something, like the video, haha, only 2% of the people are subscribed, how dare you. Something, YouTube parody, happy April Fools, good job.